Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you found me, yay, you're finally here. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much for coming back. My subscribers already know that my goal is to save you time and money by giving you the scoop on filmmaking quality and content so you can decide whether or not you want to watch a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Wicked. Listen, if you've seen the movie, then that might make you laugh. But anyway, Wicked Part One, the bewitching musical extravaganza movie is finally here. It just hit theaters today, and I finally got to see it last night. The sometimes studios will send me press screeners, but sometimes I want to be in an audience with a bunch of people and see it on the big screen. And so that's what I did. And so here's my review. The movie is rated PG. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, but it actually felt a lot less. I was so engaged and I was excited about it. And so it didn't seem long to me at all. My overall movie review mom grade is an A. I really enjoyed it. But first, before I give you an overview in a nutshell and tell you about all the things that I liked and didn't like, let me tell you the featured product that I want to present to you. It is an opportunity to sing along to the soundtrack of the original 2003 Broadway cast starring the fantastic Idina Menzel and the adorable Kristin Chenoweth. You can click down in the description below. It'll take you straight to the product on Amazon. And it's fantastic. I mean, it'll be fun for you to compare the different voices, but also in this soundtrack, you get the full Broadway musical as opposed to part one, which is just part of the story. But I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. So the story is about Elphaba, a misunderstood young woman because of her green skin, and Glinda, a popular girl at school, who become friends at Shiz University in the land of Oz. After an encounter with the wonderful Wizard of Oz, their friendship reaches a crossroads. It's the origin story of how Elphaba becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. The film was directed by Jon M, who did a fantastic job. Writing credits go to Winnie Holzman, Dana Fox, and Gregory Maguire. Already, the movie's been nominated for and won several awards. No doubt more will come. Heartland Film awarded it Truly Moving Picture Award. Well deserved, because you will laugh and you will cry. Fans of the Broadway musical will be happy to hear that director Jon M has stayed true to the Broadway musical show, but tweaked it to make it even better, which is hard to believe. When I was a little girl, I loved watching The Wizard of Oz on TV, although I ran out of the room every time the Wicked Witch was on the screen because she scared me so much. I couldn't stand that scary voice of hers, and I would run out and I would go, la, 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 la. She was played so convincingly by Margaret Hamilton and just had the creepiest laugh. The director describes this movie as truly immersive, and it is. Not The Wizard of Oz, but Wicked Part One. People love the Broadway musical, obviously, so expectations have been very, very high. By the way, did you know that Ben Platt's dad was one of the producers of the Broadway musical Wicked? I just adore Ben Platt's musical so much. I loved him in Dear Evan Hansen on stage and in the movie. All right, quick tips for parents. I think young kids might actually really like this if they like musicals, singing and dancing, and want to know more about the Wizard of Oz story. There's no profanity, so yay. I love all of the made up words that they use, and your kids might start saying fantastical things. Some people and animals are in dangerous situations, and we see some animals in cages, which apparently is, very cruel thing to do in the land of Oz. And then witchcraft is obviously talked about. It's kind of like, and demonstrated, it's kind of like Harry Potter, but in a different type of world, really. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are don't accept other people's limits on you, judging others, friendship, acceptance and belonging, good versus evil, self-doubt versus self-confidence, and untapped potential. All right, here's the long list of things that I really loved about the movie. First of all, Cynthia Erivo is really great. She looks terrific. I loved her in the movie Harriet, so it's really fun to see her in this. She's very talented. The witch's black hat and glasses certainly give us what we expected, yet with an entirely new twist. Fun fact number one, Elphaba gets her name from the initials of the author of the book Wizard of Oz, L. Frank Baum, LFB. Now, it's a bit of a stretch, but still, I think that that's a nice tribute and a respectful nod to the author of the original. Now, when I've seen interviews with Cynthia Erivo, she seems very arrogant. And so I was a little bit worried if she would even be able to pull off a very humble Elphaba and then find her own. And she does. She did a good job. Ariana Grande is completely adorable and has mastered the cute toss with her hair of Glinda, which always got a laugh from the audience whenever she did that. She just lit up the stage anytime she's on it. I just think she's so cute. The two of them sang live on set. Cynthia Erivo is actually singing Defying Gravity while flying. I don't know how that worked, but that's super impressive. And I also really respect the fact that they wanted to do what the Broadway performers have been doing every day on stage for years. The music is, of course, fantastic. I recently watched a video about how the musical score of Wizard had Easter eggs in it that the fans of the Judy Garland movie, The Wizard of Oz, had in its melodies. And I love that they tried to echo some of those musical notes. Really, there are plenty of visual and spoken Easter eggs too. It's wonderful to see Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, and Jonathan Bailey. They're all fantastic and they all sing in the movie. Speaking of Jonathan Bailey, he actually did all of the dancing and the fancy footwork in the musical number Dancing Through Life, especially with the books. You're like, oh, that's kind of impressive. Oh, by the way, he has had a career in ballet long before he did this movie. And so you shouldn't be surprised when you see him doing all of this great dancing and stunts even. Additional standouts in the film are Ethan Slater, Marissa Baudet, Bowen Yang, Keala Settle. I adored her in The Greatest Showman, and Peter Dinklage. Did you recognize his voice as Dr. Dillamond the goat? Notice the unique logo for Universal Pictures. The pink globe represents Glinda, of course, and the green name of the company represents Elphaba. It's a cute touch. Fun fact number two, they actually planted 9 million tulips for one of the scenes towards the beginning of the movie. Paul Tazewell did an absolutely incredible job as the imaginative costume designer, showcasing masterpieces that illustrate the characters' personalities. He was inspired by mushrooms to create Elphaba's grounded designs, while Glinda's dresses are light and airy and bubbly. Rather than create a blue dress for Glinda like the Broadway production's color, he reflected back to Glinda's pink dress from the original movie, The Wizard of Oz. And I love that they were very mindful of the book and the original movie while they were designing all of this. The ruby slippers that have become an icon and famous for decades actually changed color over the years in various productions. So the new crystal slippers for Nessa Rose with their tornado design is really pretty and just brilliant, really, because it's incorporating that tornado. Just like the Broadway stage production, there's a lot of humor blended perfectly with touching moments that'll just bring tears to your eyes. It did to me. I had tissues in my hand the whole time I was watching the movie. I loved the cameos. Now, I'm not going to tell you all of them. No spoiler for the best ones, because when I saw them, I was like, and I said that out loud. I was that excited. But I had just watched an interview with the writers of the screenplay and the musical composer, Stephen Schwartz. So it was super fun seeing them on the screen. You have to look fast to see them. It's very, very quick. Really good visual and special effects. and absolutely gorgeous and creative set designs. Everything was just stunning. I especially love the imaginative library. It's this like thing, a big giant wheel with all of the books stacked in. And I was just like, oh, I want to go there. Kudos to everyone for pulling off one of the biggest and best movies of the year. The cast is large, but the crew and everyone behind the scenes is enormous. Now, with all of that praise, I really did have a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been done better. First of all, fans of the Wicked musical have complained that the stage production is being split into two movies. Why do we have to wait? The good news is that the first part will end on a high note so that the audience is satisfied. And then part two is supposed to come out in 2025, which is not that far away from now. I mean, I don't know if it's the end of 2025, possibly. I didn't get that. But as I watched interviews of some of the creators of this film, they said it allowed them to really dive deeper so that you really fall in love with all of these characters and get the full story. And I can appreciate that. Of course, it's a big money grab too, but fans we're going to love it, whether it's in part one or part two. Some people have been surprised that pop star Ariana Grande was selected to play Glinda, the Good Witch. She actually got her start on Broadway, and I thought she did a really cute job with it. There was apparently a very heated audition process, and people were just dying to play any role in this film. And so ultimately, I think that they chose her. She does a great job. She's just adorable. But also she's got some star power and will attract fans that might be new to this story. The PR team has been put through the ringer with this film's production, starting with Ariana Grande, who's been going through a scandalous marital problem and an affair. Cynthia Erivo went on an embarrassing rant about a fan's artwork that was just showing genuine love for these characters and the Broadway show and now the movie. And I thought Cynthia Erivo's reaction was just so inappropriate and ungrateful, possibly even not recognizing that there was a huge fan base before she showed up. And she's kind of acting like, this is her invention or something. I don't know. I was really turned off by that. And then the box for the figurine toys includes the incorrect website that accidentally points children to a porn site. Yikes. Despite all of that, people still adore the Wicked franchise and are rooting for the success of the movie. Now, another thing is that no new songs were written for part one. However, I saw an interview with composer Stephen Schwartz, and he promised new songs for part two. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines just so you can get a taste for the dialogue. Now, if you know the Broadway production, then you already know a lot of the dialogue, or most of it, really. And so you can see all of the lines on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some of them with you right now. And so, wow, I've got such a long list. And so here's an interesting line. It's funny, but it's also kind of interesting about this black hat. Now, we all expected this black witch's hat, right? The classic Elphaba hat. And I love how the designer really kind of tweaked it to make it unique. But anyway, so one of the characters, Shen, played by Bronwyn James, says, ew, when seeing this first hat. And then Glinda, played by Ariana Grande, says, I know, it's my granny's. I'd give it away, but I don't hate anyone that much. And they're all, but as soon as Elphaba puts it on, you're just like, there's the hat, And then Jonathan Bailey plays Fiyero, and he's a prince, he's handsome and talented, and everybody's swooning all over him. And so as he's looking around at this new school where he shows up, he says, I see that the responsibility to corrupt my fellow students falls to me. And everybody just thinks that that's marvelous. And then, in fact, Elphaba says to him, you pretend to be shallow and self-absorbed. And he says, excuse me, there's no pretense here. I happen to be genuinely self-absorbed and deeply shallow. And he is, and yet we start to see that there is some depth there. Now, there's some cute lines where in the beginning, Glinda and Elphaba just despise each other. They loathe each other. In fact, which is one of the songs that they sing. But anyway, so she walks into a classroom and starts talking, and then Glinda says, well, it seems the artichoke is steamed, and everybody laughs, you know. And then I love this line again. Glinda sitting in the classroom, and she says to the teacher, I don't know why you can't just teach us history instead of harping on the past. And I thought that was cute. And then another line, she opens up the door and she's like, look, it's tomorrow. And so she's just got this cute, adorable, naive, and yet conniving type of personality. Anyway, she does a good job. And then there are some interesting lines. Several times people say, some of us are just different. Of course, Elphaba says that, but other people say that as well. A big theme throughout the entire movie. And then an interesting line is when Jeff Goldblum's character says, the best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy, which is also very clever and weaved into the story on several different levels. And then an interesting line that Ariana Grande's character Glinda says is, are people born wicked or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? That's a fantastic question and one worth talking about if you watch this movie with other people. And then Madame Morrible, played by Michelle Yeoh, says, once you learn to harness your emotions, the sky is the limit, which I actually think is really true. I often find that I am the victim of my own emotions, where I want to be strong and yet emotions often overcome me, and then I'm frustrated with myself. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting because that's currently a battle I'm facing. I lost 3 parents in 3 months last year, and I thought I was doing really well, and I realized I'm not. I'm still really struggling with that. And I just see the emotions bubble up all the time, often unexpectedly. Anyway, I'm trying to work on that and get control of those things. And then Elphaba says, it's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes, and leap. Love that. All right, so whenever I watch movies, I instantly think of other films that are sort of similar that I want to recommend to you. The first 2 I want to recommend are both musicals with Stephen Schwartz as the composer, the one that also did Wicked Part 1 and the Broadway musical. Anyway, first one is Enchanted with Amy Adams. So adorable, so cute, blends animation with live action. And I love, of course, the first one the best. The second one was okay. The next one I want to recommend is Godspell. That has been a popular Broadway musical for decades. My high school even did it back when I was in high school, also composed by Stephen Schwartz. And then a recent one is that was directed by Jon M is In the Heights. I love that musical. The music is so fantastic, incredible dancing, just incredible numbers over. I've watched it a million times. I just love it so much. And by the way, you can click on the description down below and find links to all of these as well as my reviews. In fact, I'm going to queue up In the Heights in case that flew under your radar and you never saw it. When this review ends, you can click on the little box and start watching my review of that one. And I think when I first watched it, I was a little harsh. And then I've watched it over and over again, and I just love it. So anyway, just so you know. All right, that's it. Thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate all of your support. Like, subscribe, comment, ring that bell, and you'll be notified every time I upload new movie reviews, which is almost every single day. There's so many movies to watch. I love films. You probably do too, since you're watching this. Visit me on social media as Movie Review Mom, but also as Trina Voice, which is my real name, where you can learn about my books. I've got 33 of them out right now, as well as my online courses, products, and other shenanigans. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.